5, 4, 3, 2.
Hi, I'm Josh Bell with the Miami Marlins. I wear NeuroGuard to help with strength and coordination when I'm in the weight room and help with balance when I'm on the baseball.
One of the most comfortable, reduces concussion, increases performance. You can't get a mouthpiece like that on the market.
Not only is it a great product, it's super easy to use. I recommend it for any player at any age at any level. Thank you guys so much, and go check out NeuroGuard Plus.
NeuroGuard mouthpiece makes it easy to breathe while playing basketball. The unique design is not as bulky as any other mouthpiece and makes you feel safe in concussions.
NeuroGuard may control my breathing while I'm riding. It stops me getting concussions while I wreck. It's very easy to use, so go pick one up today.
I'm still doing stunts. In the concussions I've got, I feel much safer with that. I'm doing, like I said, I'm doing a whole lot better in the gym. So NeuroGuard Plus, once this one wears out, you've got a customer for life, because I'm telling you people, NeuroGuard Plus is the way to go, and me, Mark Ash, says so.
Parents, kids, coaches, NeuroGuard. It's the future. Stay tuned.
Brown right, motion, tailback slant. Let's put the women and children to bed and go looking for dinner, all right? On one, ready? Go 13! Coming up, go 13!
One weekend, and it already is a crazy 4A season. Hello, everybody. Terry Benny Grant Goodwin here, Sideline to Sideline, the 4A edition, week 2, the first in-season shows. 2 shows are down. Had some technical difficulties working through that. You could say that 4A Division II top 5 had some technical difficulties with how all of them lost this past week. It really was, Grant, a crazy first week of 4A football.
Yeah, it really was. We went and saw a Kilgore-Carthage game that just turned out totally different than what we expected, right?
I don't even know what we expected. I think it's one of those that when these two teams play, I hate to be cliche and say expect the unexpected, but last year it was a shootout. For them, it was a shootout. It was 30-27. It looked like Kilgore had the game won at times. Carthage had the game won at times, and Kilgore would fight back. Carthage ended up, getting the win. This year, we said it early. Kilgore wanted to be on the field this year. There was no fear of Carthage, and there shouldn't be. They've played so many times, but still, it's Carthage. And sometimes, as you say it best, when you play a Carthage and you play teams like that in that moment, you're down 14-0 before the game starts. Yeah. It didn't feel like that with Kilgore.
No, it didn't. But let's not escape the fact that, look, you've been to 2 Kilgore games.
Oh my God!
Seriously? In the last 6 years?
Yes.
The first time,
last 10 years, buddy. The first time was 2013. It's been
okay.
Yeah, it's been.
You
a while.
Get drilled
by the Kilgore
during
kicker.
warm-ups.
Right in the head.
By the Kilgore
I
kicker.
did not
Hit you
fall. I was always
smack in
proud
the
of that.
face. I catch you.
No, you didn't, dude.
I did catch you.
You did not catch
I
me.
did catch you.
You
And I
laughed and pointed.
lifted you up.
You know,
And
wait,
like,
I
like
kinda
the
wish-
little baby bird you were.
Yeah, why?
And then this time we're going out to the truck to take the backpack in with all our computer stuff because it's raining, and we're running back, and you run across the asphalt.
I love how you
parking
emphasize
lot,
the asphalt in that.
and you just eat it.
I ate it,
and
man.
Skin up your baby knee really bad.
Well, it's not a baby knee. In fact, the best thing that happened was it's on my surgical knee because I don't have a lot of feeling in that. People don't know.
Surgical knee. That's cool. Surgical knee.
But one thing you don't realize until you've had surgery is when they cut that deep, you lose a lot of that feeling. Like that used to be old party trick. I can like
That thing had gravel. Your knee had a scab with gravel hanging out of it.
Cleaned it off though, and today.
And what caused that?
I slipped and fell
Because of your footwear?
because you pushed me.
No, your footwear.
I think we need to go to the.
You decided to wear Hey Dudes
you
on
were wearing
a
Hey
rainy game,
Dudes.
but they're knockoff Hey Dudes with
Are they really?
cleats. Yeah, actually, it's something.
I still think you keep talking about Coach X, and we'll call him Coach X, even though he's not coaching this year, but he will be still coming in on talking on the show. Y'all keep talking about all these like special little, investment deals. I think Hey Dudes with cleats is the way to go, man, because they're so comfortable.
It is.
But I have the newer. I brought the wrong ones, not thinking. I love my blue ones, but they just have no tread. But yeah,
don't wear those to Bushland this week.
I'm gonna wear
mule shoes. Remember mule shoes from the 80s?
I was gonna say Jerusalem Cruisers.
Oh no,
I'm gonna wear those.
Not the Jesus Cruisers.
What's a mule shoe? You talking about the old penny shoes?
Huh?
What's a mule shoe? I don't know what a mule shoe is.
Oh, you don't? Oh
No.
man, that's what we played with in the 80s.
Like that's what you like the old just the straight black and white cleat with the one.
It was a white and had little nubs.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I never knew that they were called mule shoes.
They were standard issue in the 80s, early 90s.
Back before everybody got personalized cleats and all that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what you need. And I'm going to go buy some for you.
So by the way, I love how cool cleats can look, but the one thing that I do not like, and it started in soccer and it's kind of come over into American sports, is wearing cleats that don't match your uniform.
Don't they call cleats and soccer boots?
Yep, they sure do. Or footies.
Cool. Or footies.
Or footies, yep.
All right. Cool.
Anyway, that's what we do. That's
Coach
what
X
what you get on 4A right there. Sideline to sideline.
Because he likes footies.
he likes footies for other reasons. But that's what the kind of information you get here on Sideline to Sideline. We not only talk state of Texas, we're going to talk about footies, Hey Dudes, secrets. That's
Secrets is a new daycare that Coach X and I are working on.
So
We're working on a daycare.
Studio wife this is her fourth year of being around, or third year of being around us, and she said one thing she's already picked up is every year we have something that tickles us that becomes that year's theme.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why, but Secret the daycare to me is the greatest thing ever.
It's kind of sick.
I want to see this funded. I want to see how this works. And
I mean, we set up next to a casino, so you just drop your kids off.
And
boom, we put them in the kennel.
Yeah,
right. Lock it so they can't get out,
Mhm.
and so they're safe. And then you go to the casino
And it's our secret.
have fun, right?
And it's our secret. Nobody knows that you let your kid go just so you can go win 150 on the pennies.
What goes in daycare stays in daycare.
I don't think that tagline will work, but I sure want to run with it. Anyway.
Yeah, the marketing's probably not right, but I think Coach X is on something.
Oh, I think he's on something. Oh, on to something. I'm sorry. I misunderstood that. But anyway, we do appreciate everyone for joining us here in week 2 of the 4A football season. All jokes aside, it was and we always say this, you never can take season or week 1, it's never going to be the same way the rest of the year. But I will say there was a lot of weird going on in 4A, especially in 4A Division 2. But here's the thing. Almost all the teams that lost in the top of 4A Division 2 lost either good games or lost to better teams in other classifications. And we'll start at Kilgore Carthage.
Oh, what a game, man. We were at this one, and it was, we thought the game was going to be played in a drink, right? But the rain let up about, 20, 30 minutes before kickoff.
Yep. They
so
pushed
we were
kickoff
good
back
there.
about 30 minutes.
Yeah, about 15, 30 minutes. And then we had an issue that the umpire was knocked out. That took about 30 minutes, right? And from all accounts, I followed with that. He's fine. He had a concussion and a messed up knee. They didn't say, they just said a messed up knee. So the umpire was fine in that. So he'll be back here pretty soon. But let's go back into it, man. Carthage 20, Kilgore 15. Or I'm sorry, Kilgore 20, Carthage 15.
Yeah.
Look, Carthage lost this game. KJ Edwards still had 129 yards on 17 carries.
Yeah, but
and Jet Surratt struggled.
Well, and
against
listen,
this, Kilgore defense.
KJ Edwards looked great, had 129 yards, but 52 of that was on one carry. And at the time, it felt like that might seal the deal. But yeah, I mean,
this Kilgore defense was.
Oof. Now, let's remember.
They were crazy good. They're so physical.
Let's remember last year in this same game, Jet Surratt threw 3 interceptions. Now, again, the Dogs rallied late and they ended up winning. So in 2 games against Kilgore, he has now thrown 7 interceptions and technically 8 because he also threw a 2-point conversion interception.
You know what that tells you?
Did not look good, period.
That's a good defense.
Yeah, but I think there's other concerns. Yes, they are a good defense.
I think Jet Surratt's going to be fine, but he played what might be one of the best defenses in all in Class 4A.
Oh, I definitely think that.
I mean,
definitely
they are so physical, and they get penetration like every other play.
Yep.
I mean, I think Jet Surratt just faced the wrong team on week 1, and that just discombobulated him.
And let's say this. Carthage's defense looked just as damn good. I mean, they forced a safety. They were living in that backfield. This was, I think, in the 17 years that we've done this, that was one of the best non-district, first part of the season matchup we've seen, because we've gotten and these are great games. We've gotten so used to the 42-40s and the Hutto and Liberty Hill overtime crazy. It was nice to see 2 teams just slug it out between the 20s. Made the better, more physical team win. And on this date, and honestly, I think if they were to play 10 more times this season, I just think Kilgore, at least right now, might be just a better team.
Yeah, I think Kilgore is a better team right now than Carthage. Look, Carthage quarterback, Kilgore quarterback Kason Brooks, 12 of 24 for 115 yards. Isaiah Watts, the running back, 84 yards rushing behind a solid defense that just stifled Surratt for Carthage. I mean, I don't know how you overcome that. And I don't know, I think you're right. I think if Carthage plays Kilgore 10 times, Kilgore wins that at least 6, 7 times.
And in saying that,
Carthage is going to get better, and Carthage is going to be.
Carthage is fine.
But just seeing the 2 teams I saw on the field last week, Kilgore wins that at least 60% of the time.
And this is how you know when a good team. So we talked about it. Kilgore had Carthage down all game, and then in that with 5 minutes left in the game, KJ Edwards grows 69 yards or 52 yards for a touchdown, a 68-yard total drive. And so we both were like, okay, here it is. Carthage is about to do it. Mm-hmm. On the ensuing kickoff, Towns goes 69 yards, and that set up Kilgore's game winning. They didn't even give the Carthage defense a chance to make a stand, because I'll be honest with you, as soon as Edwards broke that and scored, I thought, well, Carthage is going to do it again. They're going to survive at
everybody
the end.
In that stadium.
Everybody, you could even literally hear the sigh of relief from the Carthage fans, like, okay, we've got this. But then the immediate kickoff, you take it 69 yards, that right there is impressive. And hey, both of these teams are going to be good, but I'm telling you, Kilgore just has a little bit different swagger. All right, let's go from East Texas out to West Texas as Canyon gets upset. In fact, both Canyon's teams got beat. One of them pretty bad. Canyon didn't get beat bad as Perryton outlasts them 45-44. Now,
who saw this coming?
Well, now, I will say this, and I don't remember this until we were doing research. Last year, Canyon beat Perryton 44-32. So the funniest thing is Perryton's defense did not improve any from last year in this game, but their offense did. I didn't get any Perryton stats. So if you're a Ranger fan, hey, again, email us, Grant and Terry at s2ssport.com if you want to, send us information each and every week. But the Canyon quarterback completed 80% of his completions and still lost.
Oh, wow.
Canyon's going to be fine. That defense we knew was going to be a struggle, but to be fair, out in that region, the first few rounds, that might not be an issue for them. It will be an issue once they start turning and coming towards the east and towards the Stephenvilles of the world.
That'll be a huge issue, turning towards the east.
It's going to be big. But hey, right now you're just trying, get to the first 3 rounds and you go from there.
All right, speaking of east, Liberty Ilo 48, Pittsburgh 7.
Liberty Ilo dropped.
Wow.
Yeah, they dropped to 3A, and I felt like they would beat Pittsburgh, but I didn't think it was going to be this bad. I
figured they'd beat Pittsburgh, but it would be a 7 to 14 point game at most, right?
Yeah.
And Liberty Ilo, new coaching staff, all those athletes, it tracks.
Yeah, and give the former coaching staff, DeMarcus Davis, they were starting to lay the foundation. And usually that's what happens. Usually the coach and I'm not saying the coach that come in doesn't do anything, but usually there's at least something there that gets started. And Liberty Ilo's kind of been rolling that ball in the right direction for the last 2 years. And I think we might, especially dropping down to 3A, we might get to see that. I am more surprised by this one though, sir. West Orange start, not beating Newton. Well, you know what? Maybe a little bit beating Newton, because the last time you and I saw West Orange start, we were highly disappointed. But
that was against PNG, who won state championship.
Well, no, Belleville in the playoffs.
That's true. I forgot we saw them.
Again, that was back-to-back times we saw them where they looked lethargic. And so for them to come out and handle Newton 30-8, I am very impressed.
Yeah, 38-8, West Orange Stark over Newton. Yeah, I thought Newton would put up more of a fight than that. I figured maybe West Orange Stark might win that game, but not to the point of 30 points, right?
Yeah. They were up 13 points and a half, and then the Mustang defense held Newton scoreless in the second half. It was their first win since 2021, which we were actually at that game. That's the last time we ate at Cedar Tree.
All right, Seminole 56, Canyon West Plains 21. Seminole's quarterback, White Holstrom, one of the best quarterbacks in the region, went 24 of 29 for 285 yards passing. Caton Kramer ran for 111 yards for Seminole.
Yeah, West Plain, they move up to Division I. Last year, they had a magical season going to the state quarterfinals, but, man, they lost everybody. King Talent, Crockett Henry, Dawson Hall, Duke Blazer, all those guys are gone. They still have a really good quarterback in Reed Macon, but it's going to take them a while to find what they can do offensively, guys that'll work with him. The problem is their defense loses a lot, and they're about to play Estacado in 2 weeks, Bushland in 3 weeks, Argyle Liberty Christian in 4 weeks. There is a legitimate chance that
Liberty Christian is the real deal,
yeah,
by the way. I saw them scrimmage against Salina last week.
Yep.
Or 2 weeks ago. And Liberty Christian, oh man. And dude, they are tough. They got 3 receivers in go, a quarterback can throw the ball, that like one of the best quarterbacks you're going to see all year. And then they got Jason Witten's son and safety and tight end.
Yeah, and so there's a real good chance West Plains is going to go into district with maybe a 1-5 record and still be a team in district that could make the playoffs
and still be a team that can win the region.
Yeah. I don't know if they're that good, but if they find some targets for Macon,
good.
Hey, look at what Stephenville did, 38-3 beating Midlothian Heritage. Now, this is a Panther team that takes a step back from where they were last year, but still a good 5A program as Ryan Gaffer throws for 242 yards. Tristan Gentry had 109 yards receiving. 7 different Yellow Jackets had catches. That's the Yellow Jacket offense that when you think of old school, like Art Brawl back in the day, it was 75 different guys could catch the ball. Great start for Stephenville.
And let's not give up. Like, I know Stephenville just blew them out 38-3, but let's not overlook that Stephenville defense.
Oh, no,
right?
No, not at all. Holding them to 3. And that's where Stephenville has 2 years ago, their defense struggled. Last year, their defense, we were there when they kind of found their footing against Brownwood, and their offense had issues. But you said it best before we started recording. Stephenville, and we don't do this game. If you wanted to look at who in Division I just looked amazing, it's Kilgore, Stephenville, and then Chapel Hill. Because I like what Chapel Hill did against the Jasper team. It's not beating Jasper that's impressive to me. It's scoring 56 points. And I know Jasper has to rebuild their defense, but I mean, that's what Jasper does, man. They rebuild their defense.
Right.
You're used to that. And so, a lot of people.
Ricky Stewart for Chapel Hill runs for 225 yards. Like it's nothing.
I know. And we probably was part of this last year where it was kind of like, okay, they're in the state championship. They better win it now, but they still got a lot back on this team. Yeah, they lost a ton, but you've still got Demetrius Brisbane. You've still got Ricky Stewart, and those two guys alone can get you a long way in 4A.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. All right. How about Salina, 49, Belleville, 30? This game went kind of back and forth until Salina scored 21 unanswered points. The Salina run game kind of gave that Belleville defense all they could handle, right?
It's funny because Chase Burnett, our Belleville guy, this was his notes, and we trust him. He said Salina was damn good, and Belleville had their chances to win the game. Honestly, he felt DJ Sanders maybe had his best game ever. He had 12 tackles from the defensive tackle / defensive end position. The problem is when you play a team like Salina, they're going to figure out how to get around that eventually. And that's what they did. I mean, back and forth, and then boom, 21 points. And that's where that Belleville only run game can hurt them. It's what happened in the Gilmer game.
I'm going back to that Salina scrimmage with Argyle Liberty Christian, seeing their offensive line. Salina's offensive line might be the best in Class 4A.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, they are. I mean, they are big. They get movement. They control the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
I mean, they dominate up front, and then they got some backs that can just go. They got 2 backs in there. Quarterback's really good. But this offensive line for Salina might be the best in Class 4A. All right, how about Columbus 65, Cuero 24? Man, that is the most impressive. Grayson, what is it? Grayson?
Rigdon.
Yeah. Like Columbus, their only question was at running back all offseason, right? The Rigdon kid comes over from 6-man, who, he just dominated in 6-man for 3 years for 2 different teams.
He's never lost a game.
Yeah.
I mean, he's on that Kyler Murray era.
And he had over 240 yards rushing.
Oh, no, he had 255 yards, 5 touchdowns. 2 touchdowns and 1 receiving. So 3 total on only 14 carries, guys.
Oh, my God.
I mean, that's like 1985 IBAC numbers
and
right
Scholl,
there.
A quarterback.
13 of 16, 217 yards and 5 touchdowns.
How do you beat that?
You don't.
How do you beat that? Especially as good as Columbus's defense seems to be better this year already than they were last year. They had a lot coming back. So you knew they were going to probably be better.
So my question for the 4A show, because we talked Columbus on the 3A show, is what does this mean for Cuero? Because I think
Cuero's going to be fine. They just faced a state championship caliber team.
I don't know, man. I know they're 3A, and look, I think Columbus has a chance to win state, but I still don't know if even Columbus gets out of their district unscathed. There's something. I
would be highly shocked if Columbus got beat in district.
As much as we're praising Columbus, this is a 4A Cuero team that gave up 65 points.
To a really good. I don't care about classifications.
Well, I do. I mean, it does matter to an extent.
I guess maybe I don't know.
So you're
we'll
saying
just take team for team. I think I'm not saying Cuero's gonna win state.
Oh, I know.
But I think Cuero is still a region, one of the top 3 region favorites. Just because they gave up 65 to Columbus. Columbus is one of the best teams in the state from 4A down.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying it's.
I mean, they are absolutely
I'm just saying,
loaded.
Cuero goes on the let's watch and see how they respond.
Oh yeah,
respond list.
absolutely. I
Hey,
mean, it's 6'5", 24". That's a big. That's a huge.
That's my point.
Difference. But I think Cuero's going to be okay in the scope of things in that region.
I agree with that. I can see what you mean there. All right. Speaking of 3A to 4A, Brock, welcome to 4A. Hey, that looked kind of easy. I mean, yeah, I know Decatur is replacing a bunch, including one of the best running backs in 4A below and even 4A above the last couple of years in Nate Palmer. But to go into the back-to-back state semifinalist Decatur and throttle them 27-7, telling you what, folks, this is why we kept telling everybody Brock is going to do perfectly fine in 4A Division 2.
That's right.
I think they set the division notice with this one. 27-7. It was 27-0 at one point. Brody Woods had maybe his best game as a quarterback. He threw for 3 touchdowns. That defense is still that defense. And Brock's going to keep on brocking, man. And
I think that Brock quarterback's starting to grow up, right?
Yeah. I mean,
he started as a sophomore last year. Now he's a junior.
Yeah.
So and that Brock defense is good as it has been. How about this one? Wimberley 46, Canyon Lake 0. And I bring it up because we always tend to forget about Wimberley when they're really good. They're hidden down there in that region. But
it's a good way to say it.
I mean, Wimberley will sneak up on you. And I think Wimberley might have a state championship caliber team right now.
I mean, again, their issue is once they get to the state championship, that's where they tend to run into the athleticism that gives them problems and such. But they're always going to be a factor in that region.
Yeah.
And again, some of that's the region, let's be fair. But yeah, great start for the Texans. Hey, man, Berkshire Royal versus Yates. I don't know what to think about this. I keep being told by people down in Houston, and our trust issues with some of these schools, that Houston Yates is not great, but this is the best team that they've had for a while.
Yeah. I think this Berkshire Royal team is the best they've had in a while. I think the Falcons are going to go a long way. Reason I put them on the run sheet is they got that win by 2 points over Yates. Let's see how they do after that, because I do not want to sleep on Berkshire Royal.
No, I don't either. Yet. Last year, they I don't think they did as good as I thought they were going to do. But I mean, they played some tough teams. They lost to Belleville, they lost to Iowa Colony, they lost to Hampshire Fannin in the playoffs. That was a pretty big one.
That's 3 really solid.
Yeah, 3
teams
really
right
solid
there.
teams. They returned 13 starters. They have a really good quarterback in Ashton Robinson, a really good running back in Zakiah Anderson.
Yeah.
I like that you put that on the run sheet. Hey, we've always been Falcon fans ever since back when Brandon Williams was running for them. And I like if they could at least get back on the region. I want to just
go down to a Berkshire Royal game so we can go eat at Repka's.
Yes, please. Yes,
that
please.
place rocks. All right. How about Pine Tree 22, Gilmer 15?
Okay, first
Gilmer shoots themselves in the foot a few times.
Yep.
Pine Tree is really down good.
Well, you and I said during the show, our Big R's preview show, which is still up, you can hear it, that this Pine Tree team is not, if you're from East Texas, and let's say you haven't really paid attention to 5A football, this isn't the old Pine Tree team that went 1-9, 1-9,
Right.
1-9. They have become a consistent playoff team in 5A. They're not great. They're not winning 12 games.
They might be great.
I think this is that classic team that now that they've dropped down, they're going to be like, oh, wait, we're not getting out-depthed by everybody. R22
Right.
can – and also, let's look, Gilmer had a great 6-game run in the playoffs. But Gilmer, during the regular season, still had issues. There's still times that they struggled last year. And then this year, they're working in a new quarterback. That's going to take time. They're going to be perfectly fine. Gilmer's – I think this is more about – this is what shows that what Pine Tree can do over what Gilmer – does and how they lost this game.
Yeah. And Gilmer's got a big one against Chapel Hill this week.
Yeah, we almost went to that game.
On that one.
Yeah, we almost went to that game, but we've been there the last couple of years. We want to go out to Bushland to see them. By the way, I want to real quick. Did you see Rohan Fluellen's first touch for Stephen F. Austin?
No.
He goes like, "What? They beat a really bad team like 70-0."
Yeah,
but
everybody's saying that's the fraud team.
Yeah,
of college.
But they went like 65. He went 65 yards on his first touch for a touchdown.
Wow.
So I just noticed that on the highlights.
The Fluellen kid's special. All right, Van 28, Carter 20. Listen, This is a good win for Van.
I agree.
think Carter is really good. You saw what Carter did last year. This Carter team should be about as good as they were last year. I don't know if they're better, but you had to have a pretty good team to beat Carter last year, and others as good as they were last year. And
Check
so
this
this is
out.
a good one for Van.
Check this out. This matchup had
Whoa,
600.
somebody's howling.
Yeah, the studio dog's going crazy. This game had 623 total yards of offense between the two teams.
Oh, wow.
It was that Van defense at the end, though, forcing 3 turnovers. So Carter moved it up and down the field.
Mhm.
They just made mistakes, and that's the thing Carter has to clean up. And if they can ever clean that up,
Does that tell you that maybe Van's not as strong up front as they were last year? Because those boys were beasts up front, right?
Yeah, it's game one. I do think that was one of their issues was they're having to replace some guys up front. I'm impressed.
Those guys are hard to replace.
Oh yeah, and especially in 1 week. I mean, you're gonna have guys. Every coach reminds me of this when we do the first couple weeks of coaches shows. You're having guys who will end up being some of your best players by the end of the year, taking their very first snaps in varsity. And that matters.
Okay, studio dog. Alvarado 48, Godley 21. Nice win by Alvarado. Not a surprise, right? We kind of thought this game would end up where it was, and Alvarado kind of answered all the questions we had, right?
Yeah.
And Godley should be a good ball team this year. Did you see the entrance, by the way, on the for the taking the ball out to midfield? Godley had a guy with a American flag parachuting down.
In. Okay,
that was
cool.
pretty cool. Yeah.
That's real cool.
Yeah,
Actually,
it was real cool.
All right, let's.
And
see.
they opened the new stadium, Godley Stadium. By the way,
I saw that. It's
looks
one
really
of the
good.
nicest
Stadiums,
Yeah.
man. All right, Glenrose 49, Grandview 14. If I'm impressed by anyone this week, it's Glenrose. Beating Grandview 49-14. Glenrose's quarterback, Canyon Evans, threw for 329 yards.
Again, if Glenrose isn't able to finish it this year, this is a class and a group that'll be known for 2 years ago in the playoffs against Carthage. I'm not as impressed. I don't think Grandview is going to be as good as what people think they are.
I think they will be.
Let's circle this game and come back to it. But for Glenrose, they did everything that I thought Glenrose was going to do.
Grandview's a really good 318, though.
I think they're a couple steps below where they've been. That's all I'm saying.
I don't know. I just think at the end of by the third, fourth round of the playoffs, you're going to see how Glenrose. How good
it'd be interesting.
is.
Maybe. All right. Is that it for the review?
Yep.
All right. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to do our first preview of the season as we're going to talk week 2 and also Coach X or X, whatever you want to call him. He's back, and we'll do all that when we come back on Sideline to Sideline, the Class 4A edition.
Hi, I'm Josh Bell with the Miami Marlins. I wear NeuroGuard to help with strength and coordination when I'm in the weight room and help with balance when I'm on the baseball field.
One of the most comfortable, reduces concussion, increases performance. You can't get a mouthpiece like that on the market.
Not only is it a great product, it's super easy to use. I recommend it for any player, any age, at any level. Thank you guys so much, and go check out NeuroGuard Plus.
NeuroGuard mouthpiece makes it easier to breathe while playing basketball. The unique design is not as bulky as any other mouthpiece and makes you feel safe in concussions.
NeuroGuard. They control my breathing while I'm riding. It stops me getting concussions while I wreck. It's very easy to use, so go pick one up today.
I'm still doing stunts. In the concussions I've got, and I feel much safer with that. I'm doing, like I said, I'm doing a whole lot better in the gym. So NeuroGuard Plus, once this one wears out, you've got a customer for life, because I'm telling you people, NeuroGuard Plus is the way to go, and me, Mark Ash, says so.
Parents, kids, coaches, NeuroGuard. It's the future. Stay tuned.
reviewed. Now let's preview. Huh?
The last advert.
Right? Oh, Jesus Christ.
Power Mouth Guard.
Yeah. No, it's NeuroGuard Plus now. Please get our.
Okay. NeuroGuard
Plus.
Yes. All right. You need to wear one of those next time you go to a Kilgore game because you've been hit in the face once, fell on your face the other time. What's next?
I'm trying to think. I guess.
I mean,
was that the last time that I saw Kilgore in a regular season game since when I got hit in the head?
Regular season,
because we saw a bunch of playoffs the last few years, but. Wow.
We go to all their playoff games against that region, Needville.
Nederland.
Not Nederland. Needville and El Campo.
Chapel Hill and all that.
Yeah.
But you're not wrong, dude.
Anyway. You just have there's something about Kilgore that I know I need to have 911 on speed dial.
And you know
even
what?
Though it's only 3 numbers.
Well, you almost speed dialed them earlier tonight. You tried to emergency call them. If you saw an Amber,
that's just because
if you saw an Amber alert about a 52-year-old man, it was just Grant. That wasn't
seems to dial.
I guess you get the senior alert. Yeah.
Accident all the time.
Well, I think it's not accident. It's supposed to be an emergency thing. That is,
right.
Right. But anyway,
this chick has me in a ball gag
or
in a swing, which is weird. And she's got this big old cucumber.
Or my keys are on top of a club that somebody's thrown that's mad at me.
That was a trans hooker.
Yes, I know.
On accident that grabbed my keys. That's a Patreon thing.
What
she
was
threw
the
my
accident?
keys.
That is going to be a good feature.
It was 2 in the morning. I know you
called me.
5 a.m.
You literally called me. It was like
a trans hooker had thrown my keys on top of a bar.
Oh, this is not a joke either.
Luckily, somehow, I don't know how.
There was a fire truck with a bucket right across the street.
They were already in the area.
Yeah.
They came up and got my keys.
Oh my God.
Thank you.
That is hilarious.
So, say no to trans.
We are back. Hey, we're back on the 4A show, and if you
I will not even go see Trans Siberia Orchestra now because of that.
If you know our show,
I don't want to go on a transatlantic cruise.
If you know our show, well, first
speaking of trans, where's Coach X?
I'm trying to get there.
Sorry.
If you know our show, you know the preview part means we bring out. I guess we can still call him Coach X. He's
an ex-coach.
Yeah, there you go. Ex-Coach X.
For 1 year. Good job. He's getting back.
You keep saying that, but I'm telling you, dude, the judge.
He's already got like 3 interviews for next year, they said.
Look,
he's taking the year off to make some money.
Look, the Nancy Majancy charter schools are not real interviews. I keep trying to tell him that. All right, here's what ex-Coach X has to say. Well, guys, ex-Coach X finally hung him up this season. My first time in 36 years of not coaching football, which is crazy that I had so much time on my hand that I was not asked to be a part of the huge-ass prequel show. I don't think he understands what we do, or the barbecue that goes along with it. Now, to be fair, we didn't have a barbecue. We had Love and War in Texas. That was absolutely wonderful. But that is cool. I don't have time anyway. So now he said he had time, but he doesn't have time. I'm hitting the road. Now you know why he's not coaching this year. I'm hitting the road. I got a new job in Oregon at the last Blockbuster. So I'm heading up there to charge fees for not rewinding DVDs, Blu-rays, and renting out Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
How do you rewind a DVD?
I was going to say something to 3A show and I didn't.
VHS. Okay.
I wonder if this is a paid position. We'll see how you work out. But anyway, renting out Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on Nintendos to dudes in their late 40s like Terry. It was a hell of a road trip, though. I saw a band called Mac Sabbath.
Mac Sabbath is awesome.
It's a Black Sabbath cover band. Sorry about Studio Dog tonight. It's a Black Sabbath cover band with all McDonald's characters. That's
how
right.
How did Coach X know about Studio Dog? That's weird.
You were in that part of the night.
Okay.
By the way, if you do know our show, this is the last show of the night, so you know what that means.
He told me he was driving up to Oregon for his new job on a motorcycle. I was like, why are you going to drive up on a motorcycle? That's like dangerous. He's like, I like the freedom, man, the freedom of a motorcycle. I'm like, well, dude, I'm just as free driving my truck. I am. I
don't get motorcycles. I honestly don't. It's just not my thing.
I get it. The wind blowing through your helmet hair.
I never liked
the freedom. I got just as much freedom in my truck.
Yeah.
I mean, I can still do the same things people with motorcycles do, and I can live.
And
Okay,
I never was big on convertibles either. I don't get the
I
love
like
of
convertibles. What do you got against convertibles, dude?
because if you get outside
Other
of this,
than being like a midlife crisis thing,
like we saw in Tyler, that dude sitting there.
God,
oh my
we
God.
went into CVS last week before we went to Carthage. We stayed in Tyler.
Yep.
Thursday night, and then went. Good Lord,
Hey.
Studio Dog quit it.
All right, now finish what you're saying. I'm gonna leave that in. I'm not even gonna edit that. We saw a dude that was obviously in his 60s driving a 25-year-old's car.
60s, dude.
Think he's older?
No, he's like 80s.
Was he? I didn't get a good look at him. I was just looking at the car.
Yeah.
All right, let me get back to reading what he said. So, talks about Mac Sabbath. It's a Black Sabbath cover band with all McDonald's characters. That's a real thing, folks. Look it up. It's hilarious.
I know, it's kind of scary.
And yeah, it's as badass as it sounds. Don't do a bunch of shrooms before you go. You'll end up on the McDonald's playland crying in the ball pit, throwing plastic balls at a painting of Grimace, or trying to arrest a hamburger. Wait, so is he trying to say that he thought that the Mac Sabbath plays at a McDonald's and he was... That makes no sense. Or so I've been told. So it's one more Mac Sabbath show, and then What a Difference blockbuster video. On with the picks. And where do you want to start?
All right. That was a lot.
It really was. Good, very, very good first diatribe of the 2024 season by ex-coach X.
I hope he doesn't miss coaching too much, right?
Again, we'll see.
He's
curious.
all about making that money right now.
You keep saying, okay, so folks, this wasn't a choice.
He keeps hitting me up.
He was asked to not coach
ideas.
by certain law enforcement while an investigation happens. Grant's trying to be nice and make it sound like Coach X had this, you know what, I'm just going to take a year off from coaching. No, that's usually what happens when you get, you can't trespass onto schools for 365 days. Anyway, what game you want to start
I don't
with?
think it was that.
What game you want to start with?
All right, let's go. Edna versus Bay City, man. Bay City's got the upper hand in this one. Edna has to break in a new quarterback. They still have their running back, Cade Rodas, and their receiver, Braylon Harris, which is a really good defensive back as well.
Yeah.
And Braylon Harris, they moving around from running back to receiver and whatnot. But Bay City still has Alex Estrada at quarterback and Jada Andrews at running back. Why are you laughing?
I was reading Coach X's Salina La Vega thing.
Oh.
He knows us too well, honestly.
Okay.
We'll get to it. Hang on, sorry. I'm sorry.
Did he talk bad about me?
No, just get what you're saying.
Shade?
You're making a good point.
Okay. You threw me off now.
So
I
basically,
think Bay City, I'm not going to say names or score, but I think Bay City wins this by 14 points over Edna. I think Edna's defense is better than they were last year. Offensively, I think they're just as good, but I think Bay City right now in that region might be one of the teams to beat, one of the three teams to beat.
Yeah, and
in Class 4A. And Edna's down in Class 3A.
I think this is a proverbial kind of get over the hump game because they've played in the last few years and have lost to Edna. And I think, and it sounds weird to say, well, hey, this is a 4A program, Division I. They're number 9 in the state. But all programs, when they have struggled like this program had done up until the last couple of years ago, that you have certain hurdles you have to finally reach, and I think this is a good mental one, and I think they will. I think they win comfortably.
I think that, and I have not talked to any of the administration or staff at Bay City, but I feel like Bay City coaching staff, feels like this might be their best team they've had since they've been there.
Oh, I don't even think that's debatable, dude. To be honest with you,
right.
They
feel like they're going to be better than last year.
Yes, and last 2 years they were 8-4 after being complete dog for 9 years almost. Mm-hmm. And so you've seen Robert Jones.
Well, since Chad Morris was there and won that state championship. After that, they hadn't. They hadn't done much. All right, Seminole versus Shallowater.
Hang on, Coach X.
Oh, okay.
Cowboys versus Black Cats. Not as cool as Cowboy versus Indians or Cowboys versus Redskins. But, if you say Redskins, you get people all mad, except for that Tom Bowles guy did in his press conference. I thought that was cool. Redskins is what I grew up with, and I think that's how it should be. But what do I know? I'm just some guy that works at a Blockbuster now. I'll take the Black Cats over the Stone Cold. So we all three feel that Bay City, I keep saying Black Cats, we all feel that Bay City's going to win.
All right, Coach X, don't forget me on this daycare thing we got going on.
Secrets.
A lot of money being made there.
All right, Seminole versus
Secrets.
Shallow Water.
What goes on daycare
stays in daycare.
Oh my God.
Way too freaking funny, dude. Seminole versus Shallow Water. Man, I feel like some of these games we've talked about already. If you listen to our 3A
probably
show,
in 3A.
This is a game last year. I thought that.
Why is Studio Dog doing this?
She's just going crazy. Abby! Somebody's outside.
Edit that.
Oh, well, okay, thank you. I will.
All right, go ahead. Wherever you left off.
This is a game that, going into the season, I thought Seminole would win comfortably, but Shallow Water with a nice win last week, I still don't think it's enough, dude. Wyatt Holmstrom doesn't get talked about enough with Seminole.
He should.
Yes.
He's probably one of the best quarterbacks in 4A.
I really believe that as well. And last week, as we talked about, he threw for 285 yards. I just think Seminole's really stacked against Shallow Water. I think Seminole wins comfortably.
Honestly, I think Seminole probably wins this game by 14, 21 points. I know Shallow Water is going to be a really good 3A team, but like you said, Seminole's quarterback Wyatt Holmstrom throwing for, what did you say, 285 yards last week? They got a really good running back in Caden Kramer, some receivers in Logan McCormick, Matthew Peters, and Jordan Garcia. That just this Seminole offense is clicking. If their defense plays half as good as what their offense can, then I mean they're going to be a tough out all the way through that region. So Seminole wins this one going away, I think.
All right, let's see what Coach X has to say. Blow, Seminole win. Blow like you're never going to blow again. I'm calling you like a long lost friend, and I know who you are. That song goes hard. Terry, I know you don't
sounds like oh my God.
Terry, I know you don't like country music along with freedom and red, white, and blue things, but you got to admit that John Anderson rocked hard in the 90s. I like 90s country.
I know. Every time we go to Houston or Tyler area, do we not put on old country?
Yeah, that's
right.
And it's weird that in West Texas we don't get to find quite as much classic. Now you find a lot of new, regular country, and I am not a big fan of what you'd call country now. But 90s, hell yeah, that was awesome. Anyway,
you don't say hell.
Yeah, that's
you
what
say heck.
That's what we got to worry about on this show. Brownwood versus Wall.
What an interesting matchup!
It's going to be a physical matchup.
Let me ask you this before you make your pick. Right, this Wall offense has been reinvented. Right, this Wall defense is as good as not better than last year. Brownwood has to replace a quarterback. I know Brownwood won big last week, but do you think Wall has an actual chance? Like, if Wall won this game, what would you think? Like,
I wouldn't be shocked at all. I think this is it's in Wall, and that's one of those places, man. It's just what is it?
I mean, it's not like there's 80,000 people on top of you.
No, but I remember one of the Wall fans.
It's a tough drive out to Wall. I'll give you that.
Exactly what
you and I have drove out to Wall a couple of times, and it's a long way.
Well, one of the guys that used to listen to, I'm assuming he still listens to him, he doesn't message as much. He was from Wall, and I remember he said, no matter where you're at, Wall feels like it's 2 hours away, no matter where. And I don't know that and I don't think Brownwood played last week, did they?
Yeah, Brownwood did.
They don't have a score on their thing.
No, yeah, Brownwood.
Yeah, they did. I see. They didn't have a score. I think Brownwood will win this game. I think they'll eventually wear down Wall. But you're going into Wall. I think this
Wall's defense is good. Look, Brownwood's going to win this game, but Wall's defense and Wall's reinvented offense gives them a chance in this game. And if Wall beats Brownwood, I'm ready to say Wall is a Region 1 favorite. Boom.
Could be.
Or a Region 2. What region? Region 1.
Yeah.
Or a region favorite. I'll just go
whatever
general.
Region
favorite.
It's been a long
time. I kind of get little discombobulated on regions. But I think Brownwood would win this game, but it would not be out of the question for Wall to shock the world. And it would be a shock the world. Given what Brownwood is and what they were last year and what they got coming back, I know Brownwood has to replace that quarterback, but if they got that running back coming back and their defense was pretty good last year, Brownwood should win this game. But and if Wall does, dude, look out for Wall.
All right.
And I don't think it's out of the question.
Oh, not at all. All right, let's go back to East Texas. We talked about both of these teams in the review. Pine Tree hosting Van. I think this is a toss-up game. I don't think this is a gimme for either one of them. Again, Pine Tree upset Gilmer to start the year 22-15. Jason Bachman, the head coach. They return a ton on offense with a really solid quarterback in Matt Cates. They got a couple of speed guys on the corner or on the wideout with Jordan Taylor. I like Pine Tree in this game, actually.
I do too. I've been going back and forth because I know Van, eked out a win last week, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Pine Tree upset Gilmer, the defending state champ. So everything points to Pine Tree, but I look at Van and I think, look at what Van did last week, what they did before. But I think Pine Tree, look, Van lost a lot up front on both sides of the ball, right?
Yeah.
And that's what made Van last year. That Van team that went in and played 3 quarters with a darn good Carthage team. I like Pine Tree. I've been trying to call the upset Van over Pine Tree.
I don't know if this is an upset either way now.
It is an upset that given that if Van were to beat Pine Tree had beaten Gilmer last week, right?
Yeah.
Given Gilmer, didn't play their cleanest games, but I would think a Van over Pine Tree would be an upset. But I'm going Pine Tree.
I think this is still a toss-up. Anyway,
I think it's. I don't know if it's a toss-up. I think it's within 7 or 14 points. Pine Tree. I wouldn't be shocked if Van won, but I think Pine Tree will be 7 to 14 points better at the end of the game. All right, Conley versus Lago Vista.
It's going to be an interesting game.
Yeah, Waco Conley, big win last week. Lago Vista, I think they won last week.
Beat
right?
Burnett 23-20.
Yeah,
was down 20-17. Looked like Burnett was going to go in and would have been a slight upset, and then Lago Vista stopped them on a 4th down. Went 3 minutes down the field, scored with 20 seconds left, and I think the Vikings are going to be just what they've been the last few years. They're going to win a lot of games in the playoffs. They're going to go a few rounds, but I don't know if I like this matchup because Waco Conley now.
Too much speed on the edges for Conley against the La Vega defense or Lago Vista defense.
Yeah, and Lago Vista defense.
I think Lago Vista's defense is good.
Oh, they're salty, but
I don't think they can set the edge against Conley.
Yeah, it's
on either side.
It's 100% matchup problems, and so I'm going to go Waco Conley. But it's going to be close, and I will not be shocked. If Lago Vista wins, it's not a big upset. I don't want anybody to think that.
I'd say Conley by 7 to 10 points.
Yeah, I can see that.
7 to 8, something like that. All right, here's a game we disagree on, right? Malakoff and Lorena.
We don't disagree on the results. I just think and this is in the 3A show earlier, I think that you're burying, and you're not burying Lorena, you're pumping up Malakoff.
I think Lorena's going to be decent this year, but I think I think Malakoff is just damn near unstoppable this year.
Mike Jones. I don't know if we're there yet. I'm not ready to call them
we were there last year almost, right?
Oh, yeah, they won state.
Yeah, they won state. They were pushed twice by 2 teams, right? Brock and Franklin.
The semifinal.
And Lorena's lost some.
Oh, no,
right?
no. I think Malakoff wins this game.
I think Malakoff would have beat Lorena last year in a very close one. Lorena's lost some. I think Malakoff wins by 14 points or so.
Yeah, I think Malakoff wins, but I think it's a one possession game.
I don't think it's one possession unless Malakoff comes in and turns the ball over a bunch or has a lot of penalties.
We can never predict that.
Fouls. I don't think this is within 14 points.
Okay, I think Malakoff is amazing in 3A. I think Lorena's down. I do think Malakoff wins, but I think there's enough in Lorena still to be able to.
No, there is a lot in Lorena, but I think Malakoff is a special team this year. Very special team.
It's just
it's one of those perfect storms that Malakoff has, where they were almost unstoppable last year,
and then they
have everybody coming back.
It's like Franklin. They finally broke through, and when they broke through in one state, they won it with a pretty damn young team, so they're going to be around for a while. I'm not disagreeing with that at all.
All right, West Orange Stark versus Deerland.
This game all of a sudden is more juicy than I thought it was going to be, man. You know, Stark, you and I, we had said it last year after we saw them against Belleville. We were like, okay, this is like 3 times in a row that we have seen them and they've underwhelmed. You know, just it wasn't about the X's and O's. It was just
desire.
They
did not want to be there last year against Belleville.
They did not want to be there.
West Orange Stark did not want to be there. It was very evident. And this is a new year, though.
Yeah, that's true. But we don't do that a lot. We'll talk about reputations of teams that you know, like Dangerfield, that you just can't ever trust them. You never know what you're going to get week to week. But we rarely say, hey, that team didn't want to play. That team didn't want to play. I honestly thought that they were going to lose to Newton 38-8, not beat Newton 38-8. So that to me makes it interesting. And then Nederland, they beat Lumberton 37-0. I'm going to buy into the West Orange Stark machine again. I think they win this game. I think it's going to be tough. Nederland's has some good depth and good size, but give me the Mustangs.
I think I like the Mustangs too, but I think this is tit for tat. I think it's within 10 points. I think West Orange Stark wins by 6, 7.
I can see that.
I think it's a very close one, right?
Yep, I agree.
Right. How about Canyon Randall and Monahans, man? Canyon Randall's quarterback, Kason Bennett, plays behind a very experienced offensive line. And a really good defense. Monahans kind of looks to bounce back from a 17-14 loss to Shallowater. On this one, I kind of think Canyon Randall, I'm not going to say runs Monahans out of the stadium, but Canyon Randall wins by 2 touchdowns or more.
Wow, I have Monahans winning.
Do you?
Oh, yeah. Very much so.
I don't know, man. Kason Benton, quarterback.
Oh, no. Randall's good and great win to start the year against Plainview. And Monahans lost to Shallowater, and that's a 3A school, though it's Shallowater. I think this is a better matchup for Monahans. Now, I think it's close. I don't think, I think neither one of these teams they're both really good, but I don't think either one of them are going to separate from a lot of good teams. So I think it's a one possession game. Mm-hmm. But I like the Lobos to bounce back. Coach X has one on this one.
Okay.
Does mono hands really translate to one hand? That would hamper you in a football game, I would think. I played against a guy that had one leg. He was a hell of a deep snapper. He would snap the ball and then roll out of the way. He didn't. Okay, I'm sorry. I don't believe him. He would snap the ball and then roll out of the way. He didn't make very many tackles, though. But what do you expect?
Okay, wait. If you've got a deep snapper that you're relying on to make a lot of tackles, that's kind of tell you you're probably.
Well, hang on. Now, it depends because
I guess if you're covering punts.
Well, yeah, I think that's what he meant. Because, I mean, when I grew up, your deep snapper was your first release guy. Like, he was supposed to be down there to make most of the tackles.
Wait, how fast is this guy?
Well, he has one leg and he rolls, so obviously not
But
too
even
bad.
The guys that you were expecting to be the first release guy.
Well, you thought.
your gunners on the outside.
It was supposed to be gunners close in as the
right.
snap guy.
Gunners are the first ones. If your deep snapper is snapping, looking back, taking protection, then releasing.
Well, now they don't even really get to do. They don't have to do protection really.
I'm just saying, Coach X played with a one-legged deep snapper trying to make tackles.
Hey, listen to this. But what did you expect the one guy had one leg would do? Grant, give him a break. That's what he knew we were going to have this discussion. I kind of think maybe he might have some cameras in here because he's about to get really good on the next prediction. But anyway,
hey, that Pistorius guy from Australia with one leg.
Yeah.
The Blade Runner.
No, he had
was,
2 no leg. He was.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
guy was fast.
And he was murder on the. Anyway. But he was pretty easy to block.
That was
and
pretty
pivot.
uncouth.
Again, I think he had to do that with one leg. Damn, Grant, leave the guy alone. One hand's take this one, so Monahan takes this one.
Hey, Coach X, what do you call a guy with no arms and no legs? Matt. All right. Salina versus La Vega. Salina, man, they got a monster running game, man. They're led by running backs Harrison Williams and Logan Gutierrez. That Salina offensive line is huge, dude. I saw them against Argyle Liberty Christian.
Who's big?
Yeah, well, Argyle Liberty Christian's the best team in the big school, I guess, private school.
Yeah.
Right. And they handled themselves very well, man. I don't know. This defensive line for Salina's got to stop passing rolling for La Vega, who's one of the best running backs in Class 4A.
Yep.
But I think this offensive line for Salina can control the game against La Vega and come out with a 7-point win.
I like La Vega in this one, but I agree with what you say. I think this is going to be a lot more low scoring. And also, La Vega's having to work in a new quarterback. I think it's going to be a lot more low scoring than what people might think. I'm going with it's La Vega.
Salina's road graders, man, up front.
I know.
I mean, they are, dude.
I'm not doubting that at all. This is going to be okay. So
if the game is won in the trenches, then Salina wins this game all day long.
Let's read what Coach X says. Just reading this game makes Terry's voice drop and say this game is a tasty matchup. And then Grant's going to be, oh, yeah, this is a big boy game here. And Salina's going to make their hay, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, my God.
And then Terry's going to say,
tracking.
Are they, though? And then his voice is going to get all high-pitched. Like when you get a text past 9:30 and your wife's like, who's that? But have you been to Salina lately? That town is growing. I bet they have outsourced their hay production now. Thanks, Joe. Give me the Bobcats.
Joe Biden. Oh my God, that track. He actually called.
He listens to us. He knows,
I know.
He knows our stuff.
All right. How about Gilmer versus Chapel Hill? A game we were going to go to before we decided to go to Canadian at Bushland. Man, Gilmer's quarterback, Brady McCown, threw for 220 yards last week. Trillian Butler, the running back, is really good. Receivers, Brendan Webb and Jeremiah Noble, Solomon Jackson, they're all very effective in the first game. Chapel Hill, though, they had their running back, Ricky Stewart, ran for 225 yards last week. Demetrius Brisbane is great. He's got receivers in Jonah Reardon, Trevor Brooks, Malik Brown. They're all just explosive receivers. So Chapel Hill has a lot of speed on the field. I think this Gilmer defense, though, dude, is much improved. I know they gave up, 22 to Pine Tree?
Yeah.
But if we go in 5 weeks later and see Pine Tree is putting up 30 and 40 against everybody, that's not so bad for Gilmer. I'm going to go Gilmer. It might be a slight upset because of what Chapel Hill did last week and what Gilmer did losing to Pine Tree last week. But I think Gilmer wins this game because of their defense.
I'm going to go Chapel Hill, but I think it's a one possession, 1 point type game. I'm going to count that maybe Chapel Hill, we started finally seeing, and I know they lost to Anna in the state championship game, but we saw when they rematched.
Weren't even in it.
Oh, no, they weren't. But when they rematched against Kilgore, they didn't turn the ball over as much. And that's been the thing with them offensively. If they stay cleaner off the turnovers, I think they have a chance to
I just
win.
don't think that look, if they can get the ball out quick and negate the Gilmer defensive front, because I think that Gilmer defensive front is going to be special this year. As long as Chapel Hill can get the ball out quick on the edges, they got a shot. But Brisbane cannot hold on to the ball.
No, I agree.
I mean, he's got to either get rid of the ball quick or get out of the pocket quick.
Which he can
One
do.
of the two.
He can run.
He can. But I think that contained for Gilmer defensively. I think Gilmer shows their defensive prowess this week and gets the win. and surprises everybody.
Coach X says, "No, this is like the most serious." Coach X says, "This is like the most serious thing." He does it about 3 times a year. He'll just be real precise. Dude, the Buckeyes didn't bust much offense over the Pirates last week. Kind of a shocker there. They only had 2 in the end zone, and that sure stunk. Chapel Hill looks to be rolling after last week. Give me the Bulldogs over the Nuts. So he thinks that they're going to win. Is that the last one?
It's 2-1.
Yeah, I don't ever count it when Coach X agrees with me. I usually doubt my picks. Is that it?
I think that's it. Yeah.
All right, man. If you only know what was going on behind the scenes on this last, we were so efficient the first 2 shows tonight, and then we had technical issues and a lot of other stuff.
Last show is always the worst.
Well, I always think it's the funniest. But anyway, we do appreciate everybody joining us. I want to remind you, if you're listening on audio, you can find the video up on YouTube. Just go to youtube.com/@L4 Media Company. If you're watching on YouTube and you'd like to sometimes only listen to the audio, check that out. S2SGrantandTerry.com. If you have any questions, thoughts, or comments, email us, grantandterry@S2SSport.com. Until next time, he's Grant Go and I'm Terry Bennett. This has been Sideline to Sideline, the 4A edition, brought to you by NeuroGuard Plus, right here on L4 Media.